Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. Today we're going to do something new. I'm going to teach you how to read an astrology birth chart, okay? So this is more for beginners, but even advanced astrology students or even teachers are welcome to join. I just picked a random chart and I'm just going to go through it. I'm going to show you how to look at the basics of a chart and what everything means. So I'm going to open the chart right now and we're just going to go through it. And you can apply this to your own chart as well. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Yeah, here we go. Share. So I kind of made up a person, so doesn't really matter who's the person, right? Because when you do a reading, you always get someone new, and you have to know on the spot how to read a chart. So when I look at a birth chart, the first thing I look at, of course, is your sun sign. So your sun sign is literally your ego, who you are, right? And the sun is ruled by Leo. And that's why Leos are known to shine among people, right? Those are the people that are the sunshine of the group. So, yeah, and then when I look at your moon sign, so these are also very good to know for if you want to read your horoscope, or if you want to, get to know a little bit more what's going on energetically when it comes to your signs. I also make videos every month for the new moon and the full moon. What are the energies for each sign? So you can always check what each sign does to you. So you can check your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant. I also do private readings. So if this seems all very interesting to you, but you have no intention of learning it yourself, or it seems too complicated, I'm happy to do a reading with you. You can find my email in the description box below. And yeah, I can have a look at your chart. All the information about prices and everything you can find as well in the description box below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I keep making new videos about astrology, intuitive sessions, spirituality. So anything you're curious about, I'm here to help you. Yeah, so let's move on. Then I look at the moon sign. So the moon sign is really how you are feeling and how you're dealing with emotions. So each sign deals with emotions differently, right? And then we have the ascendant, and the ascendant is how people perceive you. So it's kind of the jacket that you are wearing when you're going into the world. So you could kind of respond to certain situations according to your ascendant. And, when people really get to know you, they will see your sun sign. So the way you come across could be very different, than the way you actually are and the way you're dealing with emotions. So astrology, I see it's kind of a story to me. So when I look at someone's chart, I see a story. And this story is divided by planets, houses, and signs. So, the astrology chart is based in different sections. So I use the Placidus tropical system, right? Some people use equal house system, means that all the houses are the same degrees. Yeah, this all depends where you are born. So how many degrees the houses are, where your planets are positioned. So location is very important. So when you want to read your birth chart, you need your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth. And if you want to for example, do predictions in astrology or know what's going on right now and you moved, this has an influence on who you are, okay? So this will change. So yeah, and then we have in astrology the original houses, right? So if we look at the original houses, the first house is related to Aries. So if we divide the 12 houses and we need to give an explanation to them, we can look at the signs and we can look at the meaning of the house, right? So the first house is related to Aries. And Aries is a leadership sign, right? It's very focused on me first. So if you read a chart, you look at, for example, if here there would be a planet in the first house, this would say something about this person's individuality. So this is about your individual self. And, you know, if you would have a planet that is uplifting, you would be, for example, if you have Jupiter in the first house, people perceive you as a very optimistic, uplifting personality, and you're probably feeling quite good in your skin. But then Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So that would mean that this person also needs to watch their weight. So, and then we have the second house, and the second house is related to materialism, finances, security, self-worth. So the first house is more related to self-confidence and self-esteem. And the second house is related to self-worth. And when we think about worth, this is related to money, because you're telling the world what you are worth. So if you would have a planet like Saturn in your second house, this kind of tells me that you have an issue expressing to the world your value. You feel undervalued. And because Saturn is the hard-working planet, that would mean that you need to work really hard you feel you need to work really hard, right? To have any high salary or materialism, because second house is materialism. It's the way you do your money management. It's everything like that, right? It's ruled by Taurus, and Taurus likes luxury. It likes materialism. So the same applies to the sun sign. If your sun sign is in Taurus, you like stability, security. You like to have a stable life. So it's very important to know the signs and the houses and the planets, and then you can easily make this puzzle, right? So it's really difficult to explain to you astrology in one go, but I'm doing my best. So if, you know, this person, for example, has Uranus in the second house together with Neptune. Uranus is the planet of unexpected events. Not only unexpected events, but also science, also everything out of the box, rebellion. So you could say this person could make money through science. However, with Neptune there is a fog when it comes to money. So money will come in and out, unexpected events, right? When it comes to money. And it's in Capricorn. So this person is serious about money, but there's just a fog because things are coming in and out, and this person doesn't know how this is possible. So how could this person make money? For example, astrology or something scientific that needs also a part of imagination, you know, someone that has big dreams, because Neptune is also about big dreams. This could be someone who's making money through spirituality and will have very solid solutions, right? So then we have the third house, and the third house is related to Gemini. So Gemini is the sign ruled by Mercury. And I forgot to tell you, Taurus, the sign is ruled by Venus, okay? From the second house. The third house is ruled by Mercury. So when we look at the third house, we look at short trips, we look at siblings, we look at vehicles, transportation, early education, everything related to more factual learning. So third house is more about factual learning. So this person has Saturn in the third house. So this person might feel that he or she needs to work so hard or study so much to feel smart, like it would never be good enough. And if you look, Capricorn is on the cusp of the third house. So with each of the houses, you have to look at the cusp. The cusp. That's the most ruling sign, right? Even though the planets here are in a different sign, the cusp is important as well. So this person is probably struggling, right, with how to communicate. If here there would be Jupiter, it would have been a different story. Or Mars, that would be someone who is very strong in their communication. But if there's a difficult connection with Mars, this could lead to arguments and fights, or, you know, so you have to divide, you have to read it sign by sign by sign. Then fourth house is ruled by Cancer. And Cancer is the sign that feels comfortable being at home, having a stability, right? So if we see a chart where there's Pluto and in the fourth house, this is someone who had a difficult childhood. You can immediately see that there was a difficult childhood, okay? And then you can check if there's a connection with the sun or the moon. The moon is female and the sun is male. So if there's a difficult connection with the moon, that would mean mother, right? If there's a difficult connection with the sun, that could mean father. So fourth house ruled by the moon in general. So we could say the strongest foundation in life is the mother. That's how you came into this world. These are the roots of your life. So very often the fourth house is related to the mother and the 10th house is related to the father, right? The son. Yeah, and then, okay, that's not completely true. 10th house is ruled by Saturn, which is also father in many cases, okay? Sun is from the 5th house, ruled by Leo, okay. Mercury retrograde is not completely over. Yeah, so look at the planets in the 4th house and what it will tell about how you came into this world, okay? Very often the ascendant, if there's a planet close to the ascendant, like with this person, Pluto, there's also something with an ancestral line, okay, that came from the ancestral line that came into this person's life. That's kind of inevitable to, you have to deal with this kind of it's either a good planet or a bad planet, but with Pluto there, you had a very dark family line and you have to deal with their karma. And if you are aware enough, you can break this, right? So if there's a good planet, it means good karma in your ancestral line. Then we have the 5th house ruled by Leo, so the sun, like we talked about before. Yeah, so 5th house is all about romance, children, creativity, self-expression, spare time, what you love doing in your spare time, right? So if Aries is here in this house, it kind of means that this person loves to have competition in their spare time. So maybe doing some team sports, or maybe getting out there, right? And taking action. So because Aries is ruled by Mars, so this is action. Yeah, so it's ruled by Leo. And then we have, so I just want to say, if a fifth house is empty, that this doesn't mean you won't have children, okay? You can say that if there are difficult planets like Saturn or Pluto, you will have more difficulty with birth, or you will have some trouble with your children, okay? This doesn't have to be bad. It's just that your karma is more focused on that. And Saturn just means unfinished business from past lifetime. So you need to focus on that again. Sixth house is routines, small paths, health. Why is health related to routines? Well, if you think about it, the more structured your routine is, the better you're going to feel. You need to organize your life. That's why it's ruled by Virgo. And Virgo is very health conscious. So if we look at this person's chart, Sun is in Virgo, health conscious, likes organization, right? With Virgo, it's not always true that they're super clean or super organized. It's just they're organized in their own minds and they know where everything is. So it's very health oriented. This is also your co-workers, your work, because big part of your routines is very often work, right? So if this person has Taurus in the sixth house, that kind of means that this person likes to have a stable job, a stable routine where they earn a lot of money and where they can feel secure. And then the sixth house, right, is ruled by Virgo. So you look at Virgo, which is in the 10th house. So this person likes to have a higher position in a company or being self-employed, but it needs to be secure. So anything that's not secure, this person is not going to feel very relaxed about. It's also about your health, okay? So if you have, for example, Pisces in the sixth house or Neptune, you have to be careful with your health, or Saturn, or Pluto. If you have Jupiter there, it could mean that you have weight problems. If you have Venus there, you could be self-indulgent, because Venus is love, self-love, loving life, right? So if you have Venus there, you love your routines, but also you love food. You love self-indulgence. So it can work different ways. If you have Mars in your sixth house, you would be very into sports, for example. A lot of people who have Mars in the sixth house, they either have a very managerial position, or they like to be, for example, a teacher of sports. They love to teach sports. And they're very aggressive when it comes to, or very proactive. Doesn't have to be aggressive always. Then we have the seventh house, and the seventh house is ruled by Libra. And, you know, with the seventh house is how we are with people on one-on-one. This is also the house of open enemies, marriage and commitment. Very strange that these are all together, but a lot of times our partner is not always our best friend. And in some cases it is, but this signifies long-term commitment, right? The fifth house is romance. Fifth house is more dating, short relationships, having fun together, spending your spare time with this person. So very often the fifth house is when you meet someone, and the seventh house is when you starting to commit. So if you have planets there, they become activated when someone else is coming into the story. And it's also very often that you attract someone with those qualities. So let's say if this Mars would have been in the seventh house, this would mean that this person is very competitive when it comes to relationships and is attracted to fire signs. So even though this could be a Taurus descendant, so you have your ascendant and your descendant, this person could still attract a Taurus with a strong Mars, right? So you could think about someone as a guy, muscular, or a female, like a go-getter, a very leading type of personality. If you have Neptune there, you could create illusions when it comes to your relationships, right? So you could have people that you need to save, or you could have someone very spiritual. So that depends really on your own level of spirituality, how the planets are going to be acted on, right? So that's why I prefer intuitive astrology, because it also will tell my intuition what to tell someone, because you have the lower vibrations of the planet and you have the higher vibrations of the planet. Some people are a little bit further in life than others, right? Okay, then we have the 8th house. And just to tell you, the 7th house is also ruled by Venus. So Libra is ruled by Venus, just like Taurus. So, and this is related to love, of course, 7th house love. And that's why Venus is also related to money. So 2nd house, Taurus, money, right? 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. And Scorpio is this sign usually known for this intensity, right? So the 8th house is ruled by everything taboo, everything we don't really want to talk about, right? Death, transformation, shadow side, sex, sexuality, occult, everything below the surface, right? So this is where you will see below the surface and you will come back to the light. It's ruled by Pluto. So you will go down, 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 see the darkness, and from the darkness you can go to the light, because you have to accept your shadow side in order to move on. So if we have someone with a Mars in the 8th house, this is someone that's very sexually active, right? So this is someone who's very interested in occult, or someone, you know, that's very passionate about even finances, because the 8th house is other people's finances. This is taxes, this is court cases as well, so everything related to legal stuff. Yeah, so this is definitely, if there's a lot of planets in the 8th house, they will probably do something tabooish, become a sex therapist. It could be that this person is actually a doctor, because not afraid of going, of seeing blood and seeing the dark side of life, you know? So these people could be very transformative. Then, so if this person, for example, has Neptune or the moon or Jupiter in this house, they could be very spiritual as well, very open to the divine, and especially if it is in a water sign. So I will explain to you later how that works. Then we have the 9th house. This is ruled by Sagittarius, right? So the 9th house is all about studies, but more, so the 3rd house is more factual, and the 9th house is more about philosophy. This is more about doing a PhD, investigating mythology, right? Or this is also like the place where people are teaching. So if you have Jupiter there, you could most likely be a teacher, or become a teacher. If you know, this is also the house of long distance traveling. So if you have a lot of planets in your 9th house, for example, Venus, Jupiter, the Sun, you love traveling. And this is not short trips like in the 3rd house. This is long travels, right? So travel like to a different continent, meeting different cultures. This is different languages. This is import and export, business that is overseas, worldly affairs, you know, people who work for international nonprofit organizations, right? If that's in Aquarius, for example, very likely this person works for a nonprofit organization. Writing, this could be someone who has a content something or a blog. So the third house would be a very factual blog, well, as the ninth house would be more about the world, philosophy, spirituality. So religion is also linked to the ninth house. Third house is more structured, right? So yeah, this person has Chiron in the ninth house. So maybe brought up in a religion they didn't feel comfortable with. Maybe they're scared of God, religion. They're scared of traveling far away from their home. So this could mean many things, right? But they are having issues with their belief systems, right? Or different cultures, these kind of things. But with the Chiron is the wounded healer. So you first feel the wound and then you will have potential to heal it. It will still hurt, but you know, when it hurts, you analyze and you know better. So that's when you can become the healer. Then we have the 10th house. This is your public image. It's ruled by Capricorn, the father sign, well as Cancer is the mother sign. This person has the sun in the 10th house. So you could say this is someone who wants to be more of a manager. Jupiter has a lot of knowledge, but Virgo is a little bit more nervous sign, right? More service. So this person needs to do something of service. Could be a doctor, could be someone who does something for the world. If Virgo is not at service for other people, they feel very unhappy. So 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So with hard work, you can get a public image, right? So this is how it works. The harder you work, like climbing up the ladder slowly. So depending on what planets are here, you will see if this person is interested in really following their purpose. Yeah, because we have ascendant, descendant, IC, and MC, right? And the IC is the home, security. So a lot have to do with home security, will alter itself in the public, okay? MC. Then we have the 11th house. It's kind of a feel-good, lucky house. It's ruled by Aquarius. This is very future-oriented sign. So Aquarius is a future-oriented sign. Ruled by Uranus, signs. So even if someone with Uranus, even if someone has a 6th house Uranus, they would very likely be interested in science, anything out of the box, astrology, computers, software developers, right? So in the 11th house, you want to be uplifted, you want to be with friends that are out of the box. Aquarius is the opposite sign of Leo. So Leo wants to rule, right? It's the lion, the king of the kingdom. Aquarius sees everyone as equal. So let's do this together as a team. So 11th house is ruled by friend groups. It's the world out there. So if you have a lot of planets there, very often they will bring something to the world, but as if we are all equal. It's not like I want to be the star. So this could be someone who's writing a book about anything related to equality. You know, Aquarius loves nonprofit because we're all equal. So let's be of service, but it's also very detached. So it's having fun in a detached way. So 11th house is groups. It's networking. It's having fun, getting out there. It's quirky, and it's really a good house to have a lot of planets in, you know. It means you want to be around people. If you have Jupiter in 11th house, you love teaching groups, or you know, like being part of groups and getting wisdom from groups as well, studying groups. Then we have the 12th house, the most difficult place, and a lot of old souls are born with a lot of planets in the 12th house. Why? This is the last sign, the closing sign, Pisces, right? So this is everything hidden, everything from the subconscious. So dreams, This is confinement as well, spending time in solitude. If you look at yogis, gurus, they spend time in the mountains by themselves, closing down their karma. So the 12th house, if you have planets there, it tells you a lot about what karma you need to close. So if you see the moon as this person in the 12th house, this person needs to close down karma with the mother, with females. These are the 12th houses, everything you're not seeing clearly. So you might attract women that are not the best for you. This is closing karma. This is where you need to forgive, where you need to let go and let things happen the way they should go, right? So very much people with a lot of planets in the 12th house, they're trying to let go. They're trying to hold on to everything, but this house is about letting go. It's also everything hidden. So prisons, institutions, places that are hidden from the public, right? People that are working from behind the scenes. But then we have, for example, Beyonce has quite some planets in the 12th house. So you could also be a channeler. So working with something that you can't see. You just have a lot of ideas that you don't know what it means. So this is the highest service of all. So a lot of spiritual workers, light workers, when they know how to connect with something higher than themselves, they can actually be of service to the world, right? So they could become writers, very famous poets, writers, have planets in the 12th house. They are of service to the world. This is a higher spiritual service, the 12th house. And the 6th house is related to a service for work related. So this is work related service, right? So this is how you divide up a little bit the chart, right? Through the 12 houses. Then you look at the cusp, which sign is on the cusp, which planets are out there, right? Then you later on look at all the connections between the planets, and that's how you can form a story. I mean, let's keep it very simple. Squares are difficulties, trines are easy, sextiles are easy. Trines are things that just flow without you knowing. Sextiles, they maybe, you know, you're a little bit more aware of it. Yeah, so you can make the connections, right? So Sun is the father, just like Saturn is the planet of karma. Where's your karma? Mars, planet of action, where you take action, aggression, raw sexuality, masculinity, is related to where you're a go-getter or where you can get a little bit aggressive. Okay. Mercury, never far from the sun. Check if it's retrograde in your chart. Happens a lot. Mercury is your intellect. Sun is who you are. Mercury is your intellect. Jupiter is wisdom, expansion, luck. This is where you thrive or where you're more lucky in life. Venus is love, self-love, money. This is how you value yourself and what you like to see in others. So what you love in, for example, what you like to see in a partner, right? So Venus is more related to females and Mars is related to masculine energy, right? So this is like what you embrace in someone's sexuality. This is what females like to see in males, what they're attracted to, and this is what men like to see in women. But in general, it's also how you can love yourself, a trick on how you can love yourself, because it's also self-love. And you know what people say, when you love yourself, people love you the same way back. So become that love and you attract what you love in other people. Yeah. Pluto is the planet of power, shadow side. Where's your shadow side that you need to embrace. If you don't embrace your shadow side, it will work against you, right? North node and south node, your purpose. South node, past life. North node, where you're going in life. Can be very difficult, complicated, will only happen in the later part of your life. Uranus, unexpected events, rebellion, signs, anything out of the box, new systems. This is not like Saturn. It's not like Saturn wants to have old systems, wants to work with the old, wants to work with the plan. Uranus wants to rebel. Neptune, spiritual planet, related to spirituality, creativity, how you can connect with yourself, but also is connected to addictions, okay? This is where you see what kind of addiction you have, where your imagination is, because with Neptune, you want to be spiritual, right? So you want to reach this level of spirituality, and that's why very often it's related to addictions. That's why very often people who have Pisces very strongly in their chart are prone to addiction, because they are the highest spiritual sign. And when they're not connected to the spirituality, they start finding different ways on how to be this spiritual being, right? By getting under influence, which is the part that is missing by usually doing meditation. Okay, so I think this is enough for now. I hope this was very helpful. If you have any more questions, or if you want to share, you looked at your own chart and you're like, oh, that's cool. I want to just share with you where my placements are. Let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Was this easy to follow? Was this complicated? I was trying to make it as easy as possible. I'm sure I could have done it easier, but I know you're smart people, so it's okay. So leave a comment below how this resonated, or what you found out in your own planet. What are your placements? My placements are quite similar to this person I kind of made up, because I'm also a Virgo sun and a Scorpio ascendant. This is not my chart, by the way. But yeah, write down below how this resonates. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to have new teaching videos, let me know what you want to know, and I'll be happy to discuss certain transits, maybe solar return chart, and so much more. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop sharing now, and love you so much. Bye-bye.